On November 14, 2004, aboard the USS Nimitz, Commander David Fravor and his squadron prepare for a routine training exercise. While in the skies, a call comes over the radio that would define David Fravor's career. "100 miles off the coast of California, an unidentified aircraft was picked up by radar entering US airspace. The training exercise was then cancelled, and the squadron was then redirected to intercept the aircraft. As they approached the aircraft, they had no idea what they were about to encounter. Their realities would be changed forever. I'm James Miranda, and you are watching Food for Thought.
Food for Thought.
Nickel 6-1 Tango, Roger, over.
Oh, got it! Woohoo!
Roger, there's troubleshooting.
What the fuck is that? Did you box moving target?
Retired Commander David Fravor is an 18-year Navy pilot and the former commander of Strike Fighter Squadron 41, also known as the Black Aces. And if you believe David Fravor's encounter on November 14, 2004, he is the first pilot to ever engage a UFO. According to David Fravor, when they first arrived, they noticed the seawater looked as if a plane just recently crashed, or if a submarine just recently submerged itself. Then the weapons officer sitting to the rear of Fravor's jet noticed a large white object that looked like a giant propane tank that would be later known as the Tic Tac, hovering over the water performing erratic maneuvers. Fravor then decides to move in for a closer look. As he descends, the Tic Tac then stops and begins to mirror Fravor's movements. A sense of fear begins to set in for Fravor because he now realizes he has no idea what he's engaging or what the aircraft is capable of. The Tic Tac then accelerates faster than Fravor has ever seen anything fly. And just like that, it was gone. Then a call from the USS Princeton comes in.
The controller from the Princeton comes up right as we're doing all this and says, "Hey sir, you're not going to believe this." He goes, "But that thing is at your cap point."
The Tic Tac flew 60 miles in less than a minute, meaning the Tic Tac flew at a speed of 3,700 miles an hour to a location only Fravor and the USS Princeton would know about. Nothing in the US arsenal is capable of doing that, let alone a foreign nation in 2004. But don't take my word for it. Take Christopher Mellon, the former Deputy Assistant Secretary of Defense for Intelligence.
In the case of the Nimitz, these vehicles seem to have unlimited loiter time, which we don't have. We're limited in terms of altitude. It's hard to design something that functions well at ground level that can go, to 60,000 or 80,000 feet.
And then drop.
And then drop down to the deck or drop to 20,000 feet, and and it's like a straight vertical line.
In seconds.
Yeah, in seconds.
And this has been captured on radar.
Yeah, I've talked to some of the radar operators who observe that. Then the acceleration is far beyond anything that we're capable of.
What's the fastest one of our jets can go?
Probably for a very brief period of time, 1,500 or 2,000 miles an hour. Nothing near the degree of acceleration that has been observed in some of these cases. There's nothing we could build that would be strong enough to endure that amount of force and acceleration.
The Tic Tac engagement was classified in 2004 and then declassified in 2017. David Fravor's encounter is one of 144 cases from the military personnel. That's why, in 2007, the federal government started a program called ATIP, Advanced Aerospace Threat Identification Program, led by Luis Elizondo.
The mission of ATIP was quite simple. It was to collect and analyze information involving anomalous aerial vehicles. What I guess in the vernacular you call them UFOs. We call them UAPs.
Luis Elizondo is a former U.S. Army counterintelligence special agent. He spent 20 years running military intelligence operations worldwide, in Afghanistan, the Middle East, and in Guantanamo. Prior to joining ATIP in 2008, Luis Elizondo certainly was an individual that never thought about UFOs. In 2010, he took over and refocused the program to address national security concerns by documenting reports from U.S. service members. And what he found is truly mind-blowing.
Imagine a technology that can do 600 to 700 G-forces, that can fly at 13,000 miles an hour, that it can evade radar, and that can fly through air and water and possibly space. And oh, by the way, has no obvious signs of propulsion, no wings, no control surfaces, and yet still can defy the natural effects of Earth's gravity. That's precisely what we're seeing.
ATIP was dissolved in 2012 and had a total budget of $22 million. In 2021, ATIP was resurrected by the Pentagon and is now called the UAP Task Force. In December of 2020, Senator Marco Rubio called on the task force to release an unclassified report by the summer of 2021. And on June 25, 2021, the UAP report known as the Preliminary Assessment Unidentified Aerial Phenomena was released to the general public. The report ultimately showed that the US government truly has no idea what these UAPs are, who's building them, or where they're coming from. But it does show that the US government will begin to start taking UAPs more seriously.
But what is true, and I'm actually being serious here, is that there's footage and records of objects in the skies that we don't know exactly what they are. We can't explain how they moved, their trajectory. They did not have an easily explainable pattern.
In my own personal opinion, I most certainly believe that these UAPs are coming from another planet somewhere in the Milky Way galaxy. I find it highly unlikely that Earth is harboring the only life in the galaxy, let alone the entire universe. There's over 100 billion stars in the Milky Way galaxy, and 10 billion of those stars are yellow dwarf stars just like our sun. It's very possible that a planet developed life before here on Earth, and what we're witnessing is just a much more advanced civilization. And on the other side, if we are the only life in the universe, then my God, that's a lot of wasted space. I'm James Miranda, and thank you for watching.